we got to play Apex Legends roughly a year before it launched, and we knew immediately this game was going to be great. Not only great as a battle royale, but had real esports potential.
What inspired the match point format?
You'd have this reveal of who won that was just really not the get out of your seat and throw your arms up in the air sort of moment that you want the end of a competition to be. That was really the problem, I think, that trying to solve in how to make battle royale esports, and especially their finals, really exciting moment that you want at the end.
I think that was one of the greatest competitive tournaments I have ever seen in my life. You know, whoever won that fight was winning the lane.
Yeah.
One of the greatest casting calls I've ever heard. And hell comes down from the heavens. What up, everyone? I am We the People, and I am here with John Nelson, the commissioner of the ALGS and the creator of the match point format. So John, I would love to know a little bit about your gaming history and what got you started in the gaming industry.
Okay. Yeah, I've been playing video games pretty much my whole life. Got a couple up here on the shelf. Some classics you might pick out, maybe favorites of yours as well. Yeah, I just grew up playing video games, and then Halo really started my esports career. I started out competing in Halo Combat Evolved. Was traveling around the U.S. to various lands, and I met a guy named Dolbex, Gary Williams, at one of those competitions, and we both felt like we could do better than what we'd been competing in ourselves. And that out of that was born the Halo 50K series, where we did an event in Georgia, did another in New Jersey, where players were flying in from all over the country to compete in Halo, and through that I got noticed by Major League Gaming, and became the commissioner of MLG for 12 years.
Wow.
So, and the rest, as they say, is history. But yeah, that sort of started it all. 12 years at Major League Gaming, where we did a lot of awesome events with pretty much everything that was competitive from 2004 until 2016. So across a lot of different genres, FPS, MOBA, RTS, racing, sports, fighting games, and it was a really good time.
That's insane, John. I mean, MLG is the birthplace, really, of competitive gaming. And in your competitive career, any tournament wins, anything like that?
Yeah, that event that I talked about, meeting Gary, was a national Halo competition that was sponsored by Bungie, and it was run by iGames, I think, and some others back in the day. So I won my super regional, or whatever you want to call it, in New Jersey, and then met Gary at the regional event in Georgia. Neither of us won that one, but the winner went on to the national finals, and it's where Darkman became famous for winning that event, and won some local things here and there, but my calling was not to compete.
But that's really cool that we have an actual gamer, who is helping create the game that we all know and love for the last 5 years. So thank you for everything you've given Apex. So what inspired the match point format?
So for me, I think it starts in like 2017, 2018, where Fortnite, PUBG were really starting to dominate viewership of competitive video games. And despite that, there was just questions all across the industry of like, yeah, these games are really fun to play and fun to watch your favorite creator. play matchmaking, but they can't be esports. And my career at MLG and the things that we were able to do across all of the genres of games that we had tournaments for over the years, it gave me like a confidence of, man, that's a problem that I would like to tackle. Like, I would like to try and prove these people wrong, that Battle Royale can work for esports and be huge and be great. At the time, I didn't have any way of doing that. I didn't know even that Apex Legends was being developed at that time. And I was working at EA, but supporting our efforts across Madden and FIFA, and then lucky for me and my team, early in 2018, we got introduced to the Respawn team, and we got to play Apex Legends for the first time, roughly a year before it launched, and we knew immediately that this game was going to be great. It was going to be, not only great as a battle royale, but had real competitive esports potential. So beyond that, I mean, watching esports competitions in battle royale games, it was clear that they were lacking a climactic ending to their competitions. You'd have finals where a certain number of matches would be played over a series, and then as you got close to the end, sometimes you had people who were just so far out in front that it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to win. So the last match or matches were pretty uninspiring. Or you had the matches conclude, and the casters would say, the admins are in the back tabulating the scores. And then you'd have this reveal of who won that was just really not the get out of your seat and throw your arms up in the air sort of moment that you want the end of a competition to be. So that was really the problem, I think, that I was trying to solve in how to make Battle Royale esports, and especially their finals, the sort of a really exciting moment that you want at the end.
Well, I mean, match point format really does keep us on the edge of our seats. I remember in Birmingham for the champs last year, Optic was the first team on match point, and NRG ended up killing them at Northpad. And I was in the back talent room, and I could feel the stadium shake from people jumping and screaming.
Yeah.
Oz, you guys absolutely delivered on that, stand up on your feet moment and just absolutely lose it.
That phenomena that you're talking about, it never gets old, and it's really a part of the match point format that we've created that we really didn't expect coming into it. Like when we solved that problem, like having teams that are on the verge of winning, and then having 19 teams worth of fans, either in the room or around the world, all now becoming fans of a specific team that they might have not come in supporting, but they just don't want the tournament to end. They either don't want that team to win, or they want the tournament to keep going so that maybe their team can win. And you have, again, just 95% of the arena cheering for one team in particular. And as you said, Optic was about to send all of us home a lot earlier than we thought we were going to that Sunday, and NRG won the match, and everyone but Optic fans in the room erupted, cheering for one more game, or however more it would end up being.
We can't seem to get enough of it, and I think that was one of the greatest competitive tournaments I have ever seen in my life. I mean, a storybook ending, for TSM at least. So they were in 16th, 17th place. ended up winning 3 games in a row to win the championship. And that's all thanks to match point format. But there's also a lot of other instances for the playoffs up towards by lightning rod by the Rocks, and whoever won that fight was winning the lane.
Yeah.
And so that was another moment. And I think Onset had one of the greatest casting calls I've ever heard in my career, where he said, "And Hal comes down from the heavens," and I mean the place just exploded. So amazing job by you guys to come up with this. So what were some of the problems, other than really trying to give the audience a distinct moment in excitement? What other problems were you guys trying to solve with the match point format?
I mean, that was pretty much it. Like, we knew with the game, we had great competition. So from a player side, the game felt great for finding a champion, and it was really that entertainment side of things where we needed to solve for fans really being able to lean into the competition and be excited about how it ends. So that was what we were trying to solve, to come up with a way to make it more entertaining without jeopardizing what we had already from a competition standpoint. And that's I think a really hard thing to balance. I don't know that perfection is really achievable in that vein. When you look at traditional sports and you think about like what are the most exciting competitions out there, some of the ones I think of is like the NFL playoffs, the Super Bowl, the NCAA basketball tournaments that just concluded. And what some of what makes them so exciting is the fact that they are single elimination.
So who was involved in the creation, along yourself, for the match point format?
I mean, in terms of the ideation, it was I think it was really only me. Maybe
Wow.
maybe there were other people on my team who were spending time noodling on the problem in their spare time, but it was as far as I know, it was just me who recognized that we had this problem that we would need to solve if we really wanted to see Apex Legends esports reach the heights that we knew the game itself would allow it to. So I was spending my free time whenever I could sort of be alone with my thoughts and really think through all the possibilities of what we could do. So it was a lot of like, honestly, in the shower, like just thinking about what we could do there. Because I mean, these days, honestly, there's not a lot of places where you can be alone with your thoughts. And so showers are great. Showers where I get a lot of my best inspirations and thoughts. So just thinking through those sorts of things. And one day in the shower, it came to me that we could install this format where you'd have to reach a points threshold. And then after which, if you won a match, then you would win the tournament. And, it felt right, to me. And that was sort of reinforced with each person who I told, who knew I was trying to figure it out. And they were equally like, I think you got it. Like my wife was the first person that I told. We had a daughter who wasn't even a year old at the time, so we'd be taking her on stroller walks every once in a while, and so on one of those stroller walks shortly after the shower, I told her, I've been thinking about this. I think I figured it out. And she was like, I think that could work. Shortly after that, I told my team, sort of like, went into one of our offices, closed the door, and I like drew it on the whiteboard, and they were like, I think this is going to be great. So, yeah, it's a really exciting time.
I mean, I think it's like a moment where you basically invented fire, right? You just found it out. And now, is your wife? Does she have any gaming background,
Oh
or
yeah.
is she? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What does she like to game?
Yeah. So I mean, we actually met at a Halo tournament
That's lovely.
early in my MLG days of running events. Um, we went to Seattle, which is where she's from, and she was signed up to compete in the Halo tournament that I was running. So we met there. Had a lot of fun over the years playing competitive video games together. Whether it was Halo or League of Legends or something like that. And she's I'm still playing Apex pretty much every night, but she's transitioned to more of a RPG player now. So
RPG. All right. So you say you play Apex. Who's your main?
Bangalore has always been, um, even in those early days of playtesting the game before it before it launched. Bangalore was my main, and I've always stuck with her. I play pretty aggressive, um,
Yep.
and uh, and Bangalore has always been good for kind of getting me out of situations where I've been maybe a little bit more aggressive than I should. I can just smoke and run away and reset.
Yeah.
But definitely this recent patch has made me wonder if it's time perhaps to take someone else on. But for now, still Bangalore main.
So, John, I want you to know I used to be the number one Bangalore in the world for consoles when the game first came out. Number one pred right now, only on Bangalore. So I share that love with you. But I need you to do me a favor and all the other Bangalore mains a favor. Can you please talk to them to stop nerfing my main? 'Cause pretty soon I'm gonna be out of a career if she gets nerfed a little more, man. It's tough.
I hear you. I hear you. The perks though are solid. I like being able to use that skill tree to bring things back to a place, I guess, of a little bit more comfort of the old days of Bangalore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. It's it's what it is. Just an evolving game, and you evolve with it, or maybe perform a little bit less well than you did before.
Yeah. And now, as a gamer, are you M and K, mouse and keyboard, or are you a controller player?
Controller, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, like I said, I my esports start was with Halo. And, was obviously playing that on controller. That's what feels right. I've dabbled in some mouse and keyboard FPS, but I am trash, and it I don't have the I don't have the will to push through however long it would take to be not terrible with mouse and keyboard.
It's tough. It's tough. So as a controller player, can I get a little bit on your thoughts on aim assist?
Sure. Um, I'll try to not. I mean, everybody's going to have their bias, right? If they're a controller player or a mouse and keyboard player that they bring into this sort of conversation.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'll say that feels somewhat neutral is just that Apex is such a cool game for the fact that you have people on different sets of peripherals who can compete with each other. It's fairly unique in video games. It's especially unique in esports. that we have teams that are full mouse and keyboard, teams that are full controller, teams that are a mix of both. You have ALGS champions who've played on controller, ALGS champions who've played on mouse and keyboard. Is one stronger than the other? Has one historically been stronger than the other? Has that sort of shifted over time? Of course, and I know that the development team is always looking closely at how to keep those things in relative balance. But just the fact that we're on the eve of the Split One playoffs, and you've got tens of players on mouse and keyboard, tens of players on controller. They're all going to be competing together and with each other is just such a cool thing for video games and esports.
I 100% agree. I mean, we have, 40 teams, 120 of the greatest players from around the world, all playing Apex. It's definitely something that any Apex fan out there needs to experience at least once in their life, is an Apex LAN. So I know they're gonna love it. All right, everyone. Thank you, John, for spending some time here. The ALGS commissioner and the creator of the match point format. I need everybody to write your favorite match point moment down in the comments and follow us on socials for more content. And we'll see you guys in LA May 2nd for the Split One playoffs. Thank you, John.
Thank you.